Welcome back to Mega Man Zero 3. Last time we completed the giant elevator, which we found out was being used to ferry E-crystals up. Simple enough. But now we have a more complete picture of what's going on, or at the very least what happened, and the operators actually won't let us go anywhere until we do plot, so let's talk to CL. Now, a while ago, I mentioned that I think that Mega Man Zero 1 is the darkest game in the series, and it's all actually been getting a little brighter overall throughout the games. That being said, Mega Man Zero 3 does have a few points that are, a little heavy. It's just, we're going to learn about something that happened, not something that's happening, but nonetheless. I feel like this picture alone is a pretty good read of kind of the tone of what happened. So yes, this was post-Maverick Wars, or, the tail end of the Maverick Wars, so nothing we ever saw in the Mega Man X games. So, the apocalypse did kind of happen in X5. This, however, was just a mass slaughter. Way more than half of the Earth's population suffered through this whole thing. And it was definitely the Reploids who took the brunt of all of this violence. And yeah, Vile would really like to do L4s too, apparently. Because, I mean, if you're gonna do war crimes once, you might as well do them again, right? Oh, thank you, that's very nice of you to say, Rouge. Wait, hold on. No, you two don't usually talk like this. Is that Dr. Vile? I hate that guy.
I've put tubes into Omega's head. Nobody can stop me now.
Right, so hey, you remember the end of Zero 2, right? Where everybody was like, hey, El Pizo's so great, we love El Pizo, because he had the Dark Elf. Yeah, Vile can do that on a global scale, now.
That's what you get for banishing Dr. Vile! Oh sure, I just killed most of the people on the planet, but frankly, it was very cool when I did that. How dare you send me to space? This is unfair, a miscarriage of justice. I'm Dr. Vile, I can do what I want. Eat my whole ass. I'm going to do war crimes again because I love them so much.
He's got the operators laughing like him. Back where, Zero? Can we declare our attacks non-lethal? Well, the good news is, Vile really likes saying his own name and making other people say his name, so that's giving X just enough time to do this. No, don't worry, it was non-lethal. Where's Vile? I'm gonna go beat him up. Yeah, that's kind of just the norm. Yeah, why, I can get him. I haven't been hit in all of this time I've been awake, so I'm really not too concerned about this whole thing. Well, there he goes. As obtuse as he's been for just about the rest of the game. Yeah, it was probably pretty easy. I'm guessing Sub Arcadia wants us to go there. So yeah, make sure you do well in the next stage, otherwise you gotta see the backstory again. Do you want to hear about mass death? You want to hear about war crimes again? No? Well, you better do well, which in fairness can be pretty tough. The stage on its own isn't too bad. However, there's a bit of a trick to it, which we'll have to see in a moment. So, we've got this door right here that we'll get to in a moment. I can't go in quite yet because, one thing I don't think I've mentioned about the cyber world is that you can't actually get secret discs in it, at least not the ones from the enemies. But this is the one time in the game we're actually going to enter a cyber world, so we do actually get to see the effects of it, which is kinda cool. I'm glad this happens in the game. So yeah, you won't be docked points at the end of this, I think, unless you don't do the thing I'm about to do. I think if you do the stage normally, it still docks you points, but if you enter this room, we have this capsule here with a special boss. It's this guy. Oh, it's you. Hi. So anyway, yeah, Phantom is well, Phantom now. I guess the name wound up being pretty fitting. Didn't I kill you? Well, no, I killed me, but I still blame you on that. Alright, the space where all data flows. And Phantom has read the entire game script. Did you see that part about 90% of Reploids and 60% of humans dying? That's messed up. So what's your point? I haven't read the game script. You're icky. I hate you. So, Phantom, I wouldn't exactly call him a super boss, but if you're expecting the exact same fight as in the original game, you'd be wrong there. He has a few new tricks up his sleeve. The main one is this. Yeah, so Kunai actually fly off of a shuriken whenever he attacks like that, and that is one of the worst attacks he's got. Like, I'm gonna level with you, I don't actually know how to describe dodging that thing. I kinda just had to jump and get lucky. Like, you sort of want to get close to it, so that you know where the kunai fly off of. Also, he's not even gonna get his EX attack. His EX attack just has him throw down some caltrops, and then he tries to dash into you. It's really not that difficult, especially compared to the everything else he does. Show them what that body can do. I'm sorry, what? Nothing. Just go fight Omega already. Forget I was here. I'm gone now. Alright, so, for doing that, we get a special disc, 006, which means you can probably safely assume that that is one of the ability chips that we've been getting. That's the general range of numbers those appear in. You can kind of get a feel for what secret discs go to what, because they're all in order, so like, there's a certain number range where all the enemies appear, one where all the abilities appear, so on and so forth. But yeah, we have fought Phantom, which means I am able to mention a drama track. So, we have already mentioned Will 1 file numbers, that was actually very early on. However, there's also Will 2, Light and Shadow, Will 3, Stand and Fight, and Will 4, With Our Justice. So, Phantom actually comes up in these. X actually gets to meet Phantom, and so do the other Guardians. Or, they get to meet the actual X in Cyber Elf form, which is really cool. Now, if you're going to listen to any of the drama tracks, I highly recommend these, because frankly, I feel like these should have been cutscenes in the game. I think of all the drama tracks, 03 has the most necessary ones. 2 has nothing. 1 and 4 are both more about, just giving voices to cool scenes in both games. 1 did still have the Big 4, which wasn't a cutscene in the game, but, for the most part, it is the case that it's kind of just, hey, you'll remember this scene when you've actually played the games. Hear voices to them. They're very cool scenes. But 3 is just straight up, there are so many scenes that I wish were in this game, but at the same time, I'm guessing this one's pretty big, or maybe it had time problems, whatever. I can't say for sure, but I don't know, I feel like they should have been here, because it really does involve the Guardians a lot, and I think the tone it sets going forward into the final level is actually kinda necessary for reasons I'll have to explain later. But yeah, give those a listen, you kinda have to. Anyway, hi Vile.
Humans are like pigs, and I'm going to create a machine for pigs.
Vile, I don't think you can do that. That's a completely different game.
I'm sorry. Do you think I care what things are titled? I'll steal whatever titles I want to. That is nowhere near the worst thing I've done. Why doesn't anybody like war crimes as much as me? I love them so much. People should be murdering each other indiscriminately, so I'm going to murder them indiscriminately until they realize what they should be doing.
Anyway, it's the babies again. Faker? I think you're the fake rep. Well, actually, no, you're elves, so you're not fake Reploids. Alright, we're doing this song and dance again. Now you might be asking, are the babies any harder? The answer is no. We'll see how much further they get than they did the first time, but yeah, this is another one where you kind of have to be trying to die. Like, that's easy enough to dodge. They really don't do a lot, and they just let themselves get hit. They share a health bar. I think maybe they started doing this a little sooner than they did in the original fight, but yeah, no, that fight's still a joke. There is something wrong. We have 0 HP. Is that bad? I feel like that's bad. Yeah, that seems pretty bad. So anyway, the babies are dead. Nobody tell Alouette what just happened. I don't think she'd take that very well. But with that done, we are finished with the stage. If you skip Phantom completely, you really don't have to worry about the boss. The baby elves are a joke. Which is good, because Phantom's actually really tough. He didn't show off his EX attack, which actually made this a slightly more difficult run to do. Like, I don't think his EX attack is really all that bad. Snog. Or was that Snog? I can't tell. Anyway, you got the ultimate foot. You got the ultimate foot chip. If you're wondering what that does, it does everything the other foot chips do. So that's right. You now have a chip that makes you run faster and double jump. Also the other foot effects that I don't care about as much. mean, it's not like they're completely useless. You have the ability to skip across water, go down walls slower, dash through things. Alright, this may be the last battle. By which she means, this is the last battle. Which of course means we do need to take some time going around the base. Next episode is going to be the end of the game, so we want to see all our pals in the Resistance one more time. I'm gonna guess they probably wanted just one fainting sprite for all the Reploids, but I will say, it might have been slightly more effective if the scene where everybody was possessed did have some of the more distinct faces approach us, but again, they probably just wanted a simple, generic soldier so they could all go down the same way, which is fair enough. Again, this game's kinda huge, if you didn't notice. The middle of the game is kind of just a complete other leg of the game. Usually there's up to 2 stages, but you have 4 stages in the middle, and granted they're all pretty short, but like, that's still just a regular amount of stages. Just going from the 3 Revive Reploids to Copy X, that's just, you know, the usual portion of the game, just in the middle. So yeah, pretty big game, but even still, I don't know if it was cartridge space or time constraints or whatever have you. Or maybe they somehow didn't think to give much to the Guardians until after they were done with this and were making the drama tracks. I don't know, I feel like you really would have had to keep the Guardians in mind to some extent, because we spent the last 2 games with them as kind of the cool rival villains. They were very distinct, they had personalities, they were very weird about fighting Zero. They loved hurting and being hurt so much. They're just masochists and sadists at the same time. Have fun with that concept, kids. But yeah, no, they've just been missing for most of the game. We literally have not seen Leviathan or Fefnir at all since episode 1. We saw a dead guy before we saw them again. And Harpooia has definitely gotten the cool moments. He's kind of had to be the proxy for the Guardians, but I genuinely feel like the scenes in the drama tracks are really cool, and again, the most necessary either read or listen if you actually understand Japanese of all the drama tracks. So if you're only going to do certain ones of those, definitely do the Will tracks. As a note, there are actually 2 more drama tracks that I haven't mentioned just yet. They would be Retrospect 1, Elf War, and Retrospect 2, Dreams Never End. Those are the first and final tracks, respectively. And they both have very minor spoilers, so I don't want to bring them up just yet. And, you know, they all are called Retrospect, so I feel like you can probably guess they do work very well as kind of end-of-game notes. I think that it's fine if you go out listening to those. Though the ending of this game in and of itself is very good, but if you want to listen to some drama tracks afterwards, they're also pretty solid. But yeah, in general, I think 03 has my favorite drama tracks, and again, is probably my favorite game in the series. I think 4 is also very good, especially in the story department. But I think in terms of gameplay, 3 just feels like the most perfect version of what they were going for in the first 2. And I think it is just overall the most fun of them to play. So, high recommendation. I mean, I guess in all fairness, I would also highly recommend the first 2, knowing full well that a lot of people aren't exactly fond of those. I do get they're a little rough around the edges, but I also think they're worthwhile. I will just begrudgingly say that if you're only going to play 1, it probably should be 3. but I would like to emphasize you should play all of them. They're all pretty good in their own right, and I think that they are only complete if they're together. But yeah, I feel like the drama tracks at least give the Guardians a really cool moment. It's kind of them also being, free from Vile's control. They're also resistant to it, being based off of X, of course. They're kind of just fighting aimlessly until X gathers them together and kind of convinces them to go along and help instead of just fighting aimlessly. Which is very difficult because they're not used to, being with Zero instead of against him. So I think it's a genuinely good moment that I just wish they managed to sneak in. Just like as a cutscene after the last stage, it would have been so good. Especially since the Guardians do finally get to meet the real X. That's so nice. Like, they've had 2 games where they've had to answer to copy X. I mean, they've not really been doing that as much in this game, but still, you get the point. It's really cool that they actually finally get to see the real person that they appreciated all this time. Alright, so anyway, all foot chip traits on. Unfortunately, there's no equivalent to the head slot, but then again, quick charge and auto charge would be disgusting. We're also going to level up a Cyber Elf that I really should have leveled up early on. And no, it's not any of the HP ones. They're not useful to this playthrough. If you're playing normally, they are incredibly useful. You'll probably want that. We don't actually really need Ballets anymore. Now that we have the ultimate foot chip, we'll always just have speed on. Which, by the way, speed does not overlap, so you only need 1. Quick charge, however, does, so you will actually charge quickly if you have the Cyber Elf for it and the chip for it, which is incredibly useful. So let's see, who are we going to upgrade? Well... yeah, remember this? This is the Air Slash that I only ever had in 01. Also, that looks like Agito. That form of Cyber Elf. But yeah, I definitely want that, even though I'll have auto charge on for a little bit because it's useful, but yeah, now we have the Rolling Slash, which I really missed in 02. I so wish I'd gotten that form, but I didn't. Oh well, we're past 02, so I don't need to worry about that. What I do need to worry about is the end of Mega Man 03, which we're gonna be seeing next time. I'll see you then for when we, hopefully, punch Vile square in the face.
Done.